My name is Sophia. My life began with a lot of pain. I was born in a small coastal town in Maine, a place called Harbor Bay. It is a quiet town with rocky beaches, cold ocean waves, and old wooden houses. The air always smells like salt and pine trees. Many people there work as fishermen or in small shops. Life is simple, but it can be hard, especially in winter when the snow covers everything and the wind howls all night. When I was born, my mother was very young, only 18 years old. My father was a fisherman who went out on boats every day. But he had a big problem. He drank too much alcohol. At first, everything seemed okay. I was their only child, and my mother loved me a lot. She would sing to me and hold me close when the storms came. But soon things changed. My father started coming home angry. He would shout at my mother for small things, like if dinner was not ready or if the house was not clean enough. Then the shouting turned into hitting. I was too small to understand, but I remember hiding under my bed, covering my ears with my hands. My mother would cry quietly after he fell asleep. She had bruises on her arms and face, but she always said she fell down the stairs. I knew it was not true. We were poor. My father's drinking made him lose jobs sometimes. We lived in a tiny house near the water. In winter, it was so cold that ice formed inside the windows. We had one old heater that barely worked. Sometimes there was not enough food. My mother would give me her share of dinner and say she was not hungry. I would see her looking out at the ocean, dreaming of a better life. As I grew older, about 5 or 6 years old, the pain got worse. My father started hitting me too. If I cried too loud or made a mess, he would grab his belt. I learned to be very quiet to stay out of his way. At school, the other kids had nice clothes and lunch boxes full of food. I wore old hand-me-downs, and sometimes my lunch was just bread and butter. The teachers noticed my bruises, but in a small town, people don't always talk about family problems. They think it's private. One night, when I was 8 years old, it was the worst. My father came home very drunk. He was yelling about money, about how life was unfair. My mother tried to calm him, but he pushed her hard. She fell and hit her head on the table. There was blood. I screamed and ran to her. She was not moving. My father looked scared for a moment, then he ran out the door. I sat there holding my mother's hand, crying until a neighbor heard me and came over. The ambulance came. My mother was taken to the hospital, but she never woke up. She died that night. I was alone. My father was arrested for what he did, but he got out on bail and disappeared. No one knew where he went. I was sent to live with my grandmother, my mother's mom, who lived in another part of town.
Grandma was old and kind, but she was sick too. She had bad lungs from smoking all her life. She tried her best to take care of me. She told me stories about my mother when she was a little girl, how she loved to draw pictures of the sea and dream of going to art school. Grandma said I looked just like her, with long dark hair and green eyes, but money was still tight. Grandma got some help from the government, but it was not much. I helped her by doing chores, cleaning the house, and even working small jobs like picking blueberries in summer. School was my escape. I loved reading books. The library in town was small, but the librarian, Mrs. Thompson, was nice. She let me borrow extra books and told me I was smart. I studied hard because I wanted to get out of that town one day. I wanted to make my mother proud, even though she was gone. But inside I carried a lot of pain. I had nightmares about that night. I was afraid of loud voices. I didn't trust people easily. Sometimes I felt angry at the world, at my father, at everything. When I was 12, Grandma got very sick. Cancer. The doctor said it was too late. She spent months in bed getting weaker. I took care of her as much as I could. I made her soup, read to her, held her hand. One day she called me close and said, "Sophia, Don't let the pain win. You are strong, like the ocean waves. They crash hard, but they always come back. Promise me you'll find happiness. I promised, but my heart was breaking. Grandma died when I was 13. I had no family left. The state put me in foster care. First home was okay, but the second was bad. The foster father was mean. Not like my real father, but he yelled a lot. I ran away once, but they found me. Finally, when I was 15, I got placed with a good family, the Millers. They had 2 other foster kids, and they were kind. Mrs. Miller was a teacher, and Mr. Miller worked at the boatyard. They treated me like their own daughter. For the first time, I felt safe. They listened when I talked about my past. Mrs. Miller took me to a counselor, someone who helps with bad memories. It was hard at first. I cried a lot, talking about my mother, my father, the fear. But slowly it helped. I learned that what happened was not my fault. I was not bad or worthless. I was a survivor. In high school, I worked even harder. I got good grades. I joined the art club because I loved drawing. Just like my mother, I drew pictures of the sea, stormy waves, but also sunny beaches with hope. One of my drawings won a prize in a state contest. That gave me confidence. I also got a part-time job at a cafe in town, saving money for college. There were still hard days. Sometimes I missed my mother so much it hurt like a physical pain. On her birthday, I would go to the beach and talk to the waves, telling her about my life. I thought about my father sometimes, wondering if he was sorry, but I forgave him in my heart because holding anger was hurting me more. When I was 18, I got a scholarship to go to college in Boston. It was not full, but with my savings and loans, I could go. I studied nursing because I wanted to help people who were sick or hurt. Like my grandma and mother, college was exciting but scary. Big city, new people. I made friends, but I was shy at first. Then I met Alex. He was in my biology class, kind and funny. He had grown up in a happy family, but he understood when I told him my story. He didn't pity me. He admired my strength. We dated slowly. He was patient when I had bad days. After 2 years, we got engaged. I graduated with honors. I got a job as a nurse in a hospital, helping children who were sick. It felt good to give comfort, like what I wished I had when I was little. Now I am 30 years old. I live in a small house near the city with Alex and our 2 children, a boy named Liam and a girl named Rose. Rose has my mother's eyes. We visit Harbor Bay sometimes. The town looks the same, but I see it differently now. It's not just pain. It's where I learned to be strong. My life began with pain, but it didn't end there. I lost so much, my mother, my grandmother, my childhood. But I found love, purpose, and peace. I still have sad moments. I cry sometimes thinking about the past, but I also smile a lot. I teach my children to be kind, to be strong, to chase dreams. If you are going through hard times, know this. Pain can make you stronger. It can teach you empathy, courage, and hope. The waves crash, but they always smooth the rocks over time. You can heal. You can find joy. This is my story. It's emotional, full of tears and struggles, but also full of light at the end. Thank you for reading. Please subscribe my channel.